At Thanksgiving dinner, my sister brought her new boyfriend. When he asked about my job, Mom snapped. Some things are better left unsaid. My sister laughed. She hands out candy and stickers to sick kids. I set down my glass. That's funny, he saw me every morning last month. Just never without a mask. My name is Mary Shockley. I'm 33 years old. At Thanksgiving dinner, my sister brought her new boyfriend. When he asked about my job, my mom cut in fast. Some things are better left unsaid. My sister laughed. She hands out candy and stickers to sick kids. I set down my glass. That's funny. He saw me every morning last month. Just never without a mask. The table went quiet. My sister's smile froze. My mother's face went white. And her boyfriend? His hands started shaking. They didn't know where I really work. They didn't know what I really do. And they definitely didn't know who I was the last time he saw me. What happened next changed everything. I arrived at my mother's house at 2:30 that afternoon. The Victorians sat behind gates in one of those Westchester County neighborhoods where every driveway had German cars and every lawn had professional landscaping. I punched in the code 1 to 8 minus 2, 2 to 9, same as always, and drove through. My Toyota Camry looked small next to the Mercedes, and BMWs already parked along the circular drive. I counted 7 cars. I was late, as usual. Not late by normal standards. Dinner wasn't until 4. But late by my mother's standards, which meant I wasn't there 2 hours early to help set up. I parked at the far end of the driveway, made myself small, old habit. The house was already full when I walked in. I could hear voices from the living room, that particular pitch of polite conversation that happens when people are performing for each other. I slipped through the foyer, carrying the pie I'd bought from the grocery store on the way over. Homemade wasn't in my schedule this year. Homemade hadn't been in my schedule for 7 years. Mary, you're here. My mother appeared in the kitchen doorway. Patricia Shockley, 59, perfectly maintained, wearing a cream cashmere sweater that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. Her hair was done. Her makeup was flawless. She looked at my pie with the expression she might use for roadkill. Can you help bring the dishes from the kitchen? She said, not a question, not a greeting, just an assignment. Sure, I said. She was already walking away. I carried the pie into the kitchen and set it on the counter next to 3 other pies, all homemade, all in beautiful ceramic dishes. Mine was in a plastic container with a grocery store label. I left it there and started carrying serving dishes to the dining room. That's when I saw the portrait. It was new, or new since the last time I'd been here, which had been Easter. 6 months ago, the frame was silver, Tiffany's, probably, and it sat on the mantel above the fireplace in the living room, where everyone could see it. The photo was from last year, a Christmas portrait. My mother and my sister, Amanda, both in red dresses, both smiling, professionally lit, professionally composed. It must have cost $500 easy. I wasn't in it. I stopped in the doorway holding a bowl of mashed potatoes and looked at that portrait. I tried to remember when they'd taken it. December clearly, but which day? Had they told me about it? Had they invited me and I'd been working? Or had they just not told me at all? Mary, honey, I turned. My Aunt Helen was walking toward me, 70 years old. My mother's older sister, the only person in this family who'd ever bothered to ask me real questions. She hugged me carefully, mindful of the potatoes. "It's good to see you," she said. And the way she said it, quiet, gentle, a little sad, made me think she'd seen the portrait too. She knew I wasn't in it. She knew what that meant. "You too," I said. She squeezed my arm and moved past me into the dining room. I looked back at the mantel. There were other photos there too. Amanda's law school graduation. Amanda and my mother at the country club. A family photo from 3 Christmases ago. I was in that one, but barely visible. Standing at the edge of the frame, like I was trying to leave. 7 years. 7 Christmases. And the only photos of me were the ones where I was half cropped out. I carried the potatoes to the dining room. The table was set for 14. Lenox china, my mother's wedding china from 1988. Crystal glasses, a floral centerpiece that probably cost $800. The table was beautiful. It always was. My mother had excellent taste. She just didn't have room for me in it. I looked for my place card. There it was, far end of the table, near the kitchen door, squeezed between Aunt Helen and Cousin Greg, who was 28 and barely spoke to anyone. From that seat, I'd have a clear view of the head of the table where my mother would sit. But I'd be far enough away that I could be forgotten. Perfect. I went back to the kitchen to get more dishes. That's when Amanda came downstairs. I heard her before I saw her. That laugh, the one she used when she wanted everyone to know she was happy. High-pitched, performative. The laugh that said, "Look at me. Look at how good everything is, Mom." She called from the top of the stairs. "He's almost here." Tyler texted 5 minutes away. The energy in the house changed instantly. My mother rushed out of the kitchen, smoothing her sweater, checking her hair in the hallway mirror. Guests started gathering in the living room. Everyone wanted to see Amanda's new boyfriend, the one she'd been talking about for months. The successful one, the charming one, the one who was finally worthy of her. I stayed in the kitchen. 5 minutes later, I heard the car pull up. A BMW X5, black. I could see it through the window. The engine cut off. The door opened. Tyler Hutchinson stepped out, and my stomach dropped. He was tall, 6'2" maybe. Expensive suit, navy, tailored. Tom Ford, if I had to guess. His watch caught the light. Rolex Submariner, $12,000 retail. I knew because I'd seen it before. Recently, I set down the serving spoon I was holding. My hands weren't shaking. That's one thing. Trauma surgery teaches you how to keep your hands steady, even when your heart is pounding, even when everything inside you is screaming. I walked to the edge of the kitchen and watched through the doorway as he came inside. Amanda rushed to him, kissed him, held his hand, introduced him to everyone. My mother was beaming, absolutely radiant, as she shook his hand and told him how wonderful it was to finally meet him. And Karen and Uncle Bob stepped forward. Then Cousin Greg. Then my mother's friends. 3 women from her book club who'd been invited to make the guest count look more impressive. Tyler smiled, shook hands, said all the right things. He had that polish that comes from years of working rooms. Confident, charming, the kind of man who makes people feel like they're the most important person in the conversation. "This is Tyler Hutchinson," my mother was saying loud enough for the room to hear. "He's a commercial real estate developer. His company manages over $85 million in properties." Tyler laughed, modest. "My team does great work. I'm lucky to work with them." The room loved him. Amanda brought him into the kitchen. Her face was glowing. Tyler, this is my sister, Mary. She works at a hospital. Tyler extended his hand. Firm grip, warm smile. Eye contact for exactly 2 seconds. Nice to meet you, Mary. I shook his hand. He didn't recognize me. Of course, he didn't. The last time he'd seen me, I'd been wearing a surgical cap, a mask, a gown, covered in his wife's blood. I'd been exhausted, running on 30 hours with no sleep, standing in a waiting room at 2:43 in the morning, telling him his wife and son were going to survive. He'd been crying, holding his 18-month-old daughter, saying, "Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much." Now, he was standing in my mother's kitchen, holding my sister's hand, wearing the same cologne I'd smelled through my mask 6 weeks ago. Tom Ford Outwood. Strong, distinctive. The scent memory hit me like a fist. I let go of his hand. "Nice to meet you," I said. I didn't smile. Amanda didn't notice. She was already pulling him toward the living room, showing him off. I heard my mother telling him about the house, about the neighborhood, about how long they'd lived here. Her voice was animated in a way it never was when she talked to me. I leaned against the kitchen counter, took a breath, processed. Tyler Hutchinson, commercial real estate developer, dating my sister for how long had Amanda said? 4 months. Since July. They'd met through my mother's real estate network. Some business connection. A dinner party. Amanda had been thrilled. Finally, she'd said, finally, someone good. And I'd just operated on his wife 5 weeks ago. I pulled out my phone, opened the Notes app, where I kept patient details. Not full charts, just enough to jog my memory for follow-ups. I scrolled back to October. There, October 20th. Jennifer Hutchinson, emergency C-section, HELP syndrome, placental abruption, hemorrhage, baby boy, 5 pounds, 3 ounces, NICU, level 2, mother, stable, after transfusion. Husband, present, Tyler Hutchinson, listed as emergency contact, insurance, under his name, family plan, address, 863, Meadowbrook Lane, Scarsdale. I looked up. Amanda was laughing in the living room. Tyler had his arm around her. My mother was introducing him to more people, and I knew something. None of them knew. I slipped my phone back into my pocket. My mother was calling everyone to the table. The seating arrangement was exactly what I'd expected. My mother at the head of the table, Amanda to her right, glowing, practically vibrating with happiness. Tyler next to Amanda, the seat of honor. Aunt Karen and Uncle Bob on the left side. Then, my mother's book club friends, Carol Henderson, Susan Mitchell, Linda Chen. Then the younger cousins, and finally, at the far end, near the kitchen door, squeezed between Aunt Helen and Cousin Greg. Me. From my seat, I had a perfect view of Tyler's left hand. No wedding ring, but the tan line was there, clear as day. 4th finger, left hand. The skin was paler, where a ring had been. Recently removed. Maybe this morning? Maybe in the car on the way here. I watched him. He was performing beautifully, answering questions about his business, telling a charming story about a deal he'd closed last week. Something about Chicago, a business trip, negotiations, victory. Jennifer had thought he was in Chicago last week too. I knew because I'd seen her for a post-op follow-up. She'd mentioned it. Tyler's traveling a lot lately. Big project in Chicago, but he always makes time to FaceTime with the kids before bed. The kids, Lily, 18 months old, and Noah, 5 weeks old today, home from the NICU for just over 2 weeks. I picked up my fork, started eating turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans. Everything tasted like nothing. The conversation at the table flowed around me. Tyler was the center of it. Amanda kept touching his arm, his shoulder, his hand. My mother kept steering the conversation back to him. What was his company working on? Where did he see the market going? Had he always wanted to work in real estate? He answered everything perfectly. Confident, but not arrogant. Successful, but humble. Funny, but not trying too hard. I watched my mother watch him. She was delighted. This was exactly what she'd wanted for Amanda. Someone impressive. Someone she could brag about at the country club. Someone who made the Shockley family look good. I thought about the last 7 years. The pattern had started in medical school. I'd graduated in 2015 from NYU School of Medicine. White coat ceremony. After my name, I'd borrowed $280,000 to get there, but I'd made it. My father had died in 2011, a heart attack, sudden, devastating, and I'd gone to medical school because of him, because I'd watched him die and couldn't do anything about it, because I wanted to save people like him. My mother didn't come to my graduation. She had a conflict. Amanda had a work event, a happy hour at her law firm, networking, important for her career. My mother went to that. Instead, I walked across that stage alone. My roommate's family took a photo with me. They were kind about it. That was the first time. It wasn't the last. Residency came next. 5 years, 80 to 100 hours a week. I chose OBGYN because I loved it. The complexity, the intensity, the fact that I was often dealing with 2 patients at once, mother and baby, life and death in real time. My mother told people I was working in healthcare, not a doctor, not a surgeon, just working in healthcare. Like I was a receptionist, like I answered phones. I didn't correct her at first. I thought maybe she just didn't understand. Medicine is complicated. Specialties are confusing. Maybe she'd figure it out. But then I found the email. December 2018. I was in my 3rd year of residency. My mother had forwarded me something accidentally, I think, an email chain with Carol Henderson, her friend from the country club. Carol had asked about me. How's Mary doing? Is she still in medical school? My mother's response? Mary's a nurse at a hospital now. She works with babies. It's sweet work. You know, very nurturing. I wasn't a nurse. I was a resident physician. I was delivering babies, performing surgeries, managing life-threatening complications. I was 3 years into a 4-year program that would make me a board-certified OBGYN, and my mother had called me a nurse. I called her, asked her about it, tried to explain. Oh, Mary, she'd said, tired, frustrated. Does it really matter? People don't need to know all the technical details. It's easier to just say, you work with babies. Everyone understands that. I didn't call her again for 3 months. The pattern continued. Every family gathering, every holiday, every chance encounter with her friends. My mother had a script. Amanda was doing wonderfully. Maid, partner, handling huge cases, just got another raise. And Mary? Well, Mary works at a hospital with children. It's nice. I finished residency in 2019. Top of my program. I delivered over 600 babies. I'd assisted on hundreds of surgeries. I'd spent 8,000 hours in operating rooms. I'd learned to manage hemorrhages, eclampsia, placental abruptions, uterine ruptures. I'd learned to make split-second decisions that saved lives. My mother told her book club, I helped doctors deliver babies. I moved into fellowship, maternal fetal medicine. 2 more years. I specialized in high-risk obstetrics, the complicated cases, the ones where the mother had diabetes, hypertension, preeclampsia, the ones where the baby had growth restrictions or genetic abnormalities, the ones where both mother and baby could die. If someone didn't know exactly what they were doing, I published 8 papers. I presented at 3 national conferences. I was invited to teach at Columbia. My mother didn't mention any of it. In 2021, I became an attending physician at Maria Ferreira Children's Hospital, part of Westchester Medical Center, one of the top maternal fetal programs in the state. Level 3, maternal care. Level 4, NICU. The place where they send the cases no one else can handle. I was 29 years old. I was making $368,000 a year. I was supervising 3 residents. I was on call for 24-hour shifts, 6 days a month. I had performed over 200 deliveries and 50 emergency surgeries. And my mother still told people I helped with births. I stopped trying to correct her. I stopped mentioning my work. I stopped going to family events unless I absolutely had to. I worked 85 hours a week and told myself it was fine. I didn't need her approval. I didn't need her pride. I just needed to show up, stay quiet, and save lives where it mattered. But it hurt. God, it hurt. I remembered Amanda's promotion party in June 2023. It was at the Plaza in Manhattan. Black tie. 300 people. My mother rented out a ballroom. There were speeches, toasts, a video presentation of Amanda's career highlights. I wasn't invited. I found out about it from Aunt Helen, who called me the day after. I looked for you. She'd said, your mother said you were working. I hadn't been working. I hadn't even known about it. I remembered my mother's 60th birthday cruise, December 2024. 10 days in the Caribbean. My mother and Amanda, mother-daughter time. They posted photos every day. Sunset dinners, spa days, cocktails by the pool. I'd asked if I could come. My mother had said it was already booked. Just the 2 of them. Maybe next time. There wasn't a next time. I remembered Christmas cards. Every year, my mother sent them to 200 people. Glossy, professional. The photo was always the same. Patricia and Amanda Shockley. Happy holidays. I wasn't in the photo. In 2024, I'd gotten one in the mail. My own mother's Christmas card. Sent to my apartment with me erased. I kept it in a drawer. I didn't throw it away. I don't know why. And now sitting at this Thanksgiving table, watching my mother fawn over Tyler Hutchinson, I realized something. She was never going to see me. I'd spent 7 years trying to earn her pride, trying to make her understand that what I did mattered, that saving mothers' lives was important, that high-risk obstetrics wasn't just helping with babies, that I was a surgeon, that I was good at what I did, that the first mattered. But she didn't want to see it because I'd chosen the wrong specialty. My father died when I was 19, heart attack, massive. He was 56, healthy. We'd thought no warning signs. He collapsed in his office. By the time the ambulance got there, he was gone. I remember sitting in the hospital afterward, listening to the doctor explain it to us. Myocardial infarction, cardiac arrest. There was nothing they could do. I decided, then, medical school. I was going to save people like him. My mother had been proud at first. Her daughter, the future doctor, she told everyone. She bragged at the country club. She imagined me in cardiology, like Carol Henderson's son, or neurosurgery, like Susan Mitchell's daughter. Something prestigious, something impressive, something she could talk about at dinner parties. And then I chose OBGY. And you're choosing that, she'd said, standing in her kitchen in August 2014, when I told her about my residency match. Mary, that's women's work. Why not? Cardiology, neurosurgery, something prestigious. Saving mothers and babies is prestigious, I'd said. She'd looked at me like I'd disappointed her. Your father would have wanted you to be a real surgeon. Heart, brain, that's where the respect is, not this. That was the moment I realized I'd never be enough because I chose to save women, and to her, that didn't count. Her friends' children were doing important work. Carol Henderson's son, James, was chief of cardiology at NYU, featured in the New York Times last year for a breakthrough in valve replacement. Susan Mitchell's daughter, Rachel, was a neurosurgeon, published in JAMA, gave a TEDx talk about brain mapping, and me, I delivered babies. Anyone could do that, right? Except people died doing it. 700 women a year in the United States. Maternal mortality, most of them preventable. Hemorrhage, cardiovascular conditions, preeclampsia, complications that could kill a mother in minutes if someone didn't know what they were doing. My mortality rate was 0.8%. The national average was 1.2%. I'd saved 12 women from fatal complications in the last 2 years. 12 women who'd walked into or bleeding out, coding, dying, and walked out alive because I knew exactly what to do and didn't hesitate. But my mother called it handing out stickers. I stopped fighting to be seen. I just showed up, stayed quiet, and saved lives where it mattered. If you've ever been the invisible one at your own family table, drop a comment invisible, and I'll know I'm not alone. But that night, everything changed. The conversation at the dinner table had moved on to real estate. Tyler was holding court, talking about market trends, interest rates, the perfect time to invest. My mother's friends were hanging on every word. Amanda was glowing. I was cutting my turkey into small, precise pieces. Surgeon's hands, muscle memory. Tyler turned to me, smiled. That performative interest. So, Mary, he said, Amanda mentioned you work at a hospital. What exactly do you do there? The table quieted slightly. People turned to look at me. This was the part where I was supposed to be embarrassed. The part where I mumbled something vague, and the conversation moved on. But I was looking at him, really looking at him, at his tan line, at his cologne, at the way he held his wine glass, confident, casual, like a man who had nothing to hide. And I was thinking about Jennifer. I mean, healthcare is such a broad field. Tyler continued. Are you a nurse? Administrator? What's your role? Before I could answer, Amanda jumped in, laughing. Oh, Mary's job is adorable. She hands out candy and stickers to sick kids. Right, Mary? Like a hospital volunteer. She said it like it was a joke, like it was cute, like I was a child playing dress up. My mother's face went tight. Some things are better left unsaid at dinner, she said quickly. We're here to celebrate family, not discuss work. Tyler, Tell us more about your Chicago trip. She was trying to shut it down, trying to protect herself, trying to keep me quiet. I sat down my wine glass. The sound was louder than I intended. Crystal hitting wood, sharp, clear. Everyone stopped, looked at me. My mother's eyes were wide, panicked. She knew something had shifted. That's interesting, I said. My voice was calm, clinical. The voice I used when delivering bad news to families. Steady, precise, no emotion. Because I'm an attending physician, I perform surgery. The room went completely still. Amanda's smile dropped. I'm sorry, what? My mother's face went white. Mary, we know you're a doctor. I'm an attending physician in obstetrics and gynecology at Maria Ferrieri Children's Hospital, I said, cutting her off. Still calm, still precise. I specialize in high-risk maternal fetal surgery, primarily emergency C-sections. I've been in practice for 4 years. As an attending 8 years total since residency, I turned to Tyler, made eye contact. I'm board certified, fellowship trained. I supervised 3 residents. Last year, I performed 186 deliveries and 43 emergency surgeries. My maternal mortality rate is 0.8%, well below the national average of 1.2%. Tyler's fork stopped midair. His face had changed. The color had drained slightly. He was calculating something. High-risk obstetrics means I handle cases other doctors can't. I continued. Severe preeclampsia, placental abruption, hemorrhage, conditions that can kill a mother in minutes. It's not handing out candy. It's saving lives. Amanda was staring at me. Why didn't you ever say? Every emergency C-section I perform is because if I don't, someone dies, I said, cutting her off. Usually 2 people, mother and baby. The margins are razor thin. The decisions are made in seconds. And yes, sometimes I hand out stickers. After I've spent 6 hours in an OR covered in blood, keeping someone's wife alive, I looked at Tyler when I said that last part. Someone's wife? His hand trembled slightly, just slightly. But I saw it. My mother was trying to recover. Mary, we know you're a doctor. You told the Hendersons I was a nurse, I said, still calm, still factual. You told your book club I help with births. You've never once said the word surgeon when introducing me. Aunt Helen's hand went to her mouth. Uncle Bob was staring at my mother. The book club friends looked uncomfortable. I'm not ashamed of my work, Mom, I said. But you are, and I'm done pretending. That's okay. Tyler was about to say something, some smoothing over comment, some attempt to de-escalate, but I wasn't done. The work is demanding, I said, looking directly at him. I'm on call 6 days a month, 24-hour shifts. Last month was particularly brutal. October. I paused, let that word hang in the air. I had a case that stuck with me. Sometimes you get a case that stays with you. The ones where everything goes wrong at once, where you're racing against time. I tilted my head slightly, where the husband is in the waiting room, terrified, holding his toddler, praying you can save them both. Tyler's fork dropped. It hit his plate with a loud clink. All eyes turned to him. His face was white, completely white. His hand holding the wine glass started shaking. Tyler, Amanda said, are you okay? He didn't answer. I kept going. October 20th, I said, clinical, precise, like I was giving a medical report. A Monday, I was home, asleep. Got the call at 12:15 a.m. patient in the ER. 35 weeks pregnant. Severe preeclampsia escalating fast. Blood pressure through the roof. I was out the door by 12:18. Arrived at the hospital at 12:52. Tyler stood up, suddenly. His chair scraped against the floor. "Excuse me. Bathroom?" He rushed out of the room. The table erupted. Multiple people talking at once. "Amanda, what the hell was that?" "My mother." "Mary? What are you doing?" "Aunt Helen." "Oh my God." I sat there, calm, eating a bite of mashed potatoes, waiting. Amanda stood up, ran after Tyler. I could hear her in the hallway. "Tyler? Tyler, what's wrong?" I took another bite, chewed slowly, looked at my mother. She was staring at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Fear, maybe, or the beginning of understanding. I sat down my fork. "When you get that call at midnight," I said to the table, to the guests still sitting there in shock, "you know it's bad. They don't wake you up for routine deliveries. They wake you up when someone's dying." Amanda came back into the dining room without Tyler. Her face was flushed, confused, angry. "He's on the phone. He won't talk to me." "Mary, what the fuck are you doing?" "I'm eating Thanksgiving dinner," I said. Are you saying Tyler is married?" "You're lying. You're jealous. You've always been jealous." I didn't respond, just picked up my water glass, took a sip, set it down with deliberate care. "I don't need to lie," I said. "His phone is about to do it for me." An awkward silence settled over the table. 2 minutes. 3. Tyler was still on the phone in the hallway. I could hear his voice, muffled, tense. My mother was hissing at me under her breath. "Stop embarrassing this family." Amanda was pacing near the doorway. The guests were frozen, unsure whether to stay or leave. I checked my watch. 4:54 p.m. Tyler returned. His face was pale. He sat down heavily, put his phone face down on the table, tried to smile. "Sorry about that." "Work?" "It's fine. Let's eat." Amanda sat down next to him, took his hand. "Who is that?" "Work," he said again. "Nothing important." I cleared my throat. Everyone looked at me. "Last month, I had a particularly complex case," I said. Conversational, like I was just making small talk. "Severe preeclampsia at 35 weeks, escalated to HELP syndrome around midnight. Emergency C-section, placental abruption, significant hemorrhage. Baby went to the NICU. Mother needed transfusion. Touch and go for a few hours." Tyler was gripping his napkin so hard his knuckles were white. "The husband was there the whole time." I continued. "I remember, because he was so grateful, kept thanking me, said I saved his family." I told him, "That's my job. I'm just glad they're both okay." My eyes locked on Tyler. "The hardest part isn't the surgery. It's the waiting room, the family." This case, the husband had been there since midnight, waiting. His mother-in-law was there, and he had his toddler daughter with him, maybe 18 months old. She was asleep on his lap. Tyler's hand was shaking so badly now that he had to set down his wine glass. I came out of the OR at 2:43 a.m., I said. Still calm, still precise, still in scrubs, still had blood on my shoes. I was exhausted, but I had good news. So I walked into that waiting room and I told him, "Your wife is going to be okay. Your son is in the NICU, but he's breathing. You're going to be okay." Amanda's face was starting to register something. Confusion. The beginning of horror. Wait, Tyler has a daughter. Oh, I said, looking at her. He didn't tell you about Lily. Tyler's phone vibrated on the table, loud. Everyone heard it. He grabbed for it, but he wasn't fast enough. The screen lit up, face visible to everyone. Jennifer, wife, with a photo, a blonde woman, tired, but smiling, holding a newborn baby in a blue hospital blanket. Amanda screamed. Actually, screamed. What the fuck? Tyler grabbed the phone, stood up. It's not. I can explain. The phone rang again. Same contact. Same photo. Who is Jennifer? Amanda was shrieking now, standing. Her face was red. Tears were starting. Tyler had gotten comfortable, arrogant. 4 months of juggling both women without getting caught had made him sloppy. He'd stopped being careful with details like contact names. The label wife, with a heart, stayed, because he never thought anyone at Amanda's family table would see it. The phone stopped ringing. A text message came through. The preview showed on his lock screen. Amanda was close enough to read it. She read it out loud, her voice breaking. Tyler, where are you? Noah has a fever. 101.5. He won't stop crying and Lily won't eat. You said you'd be home by 3. The babies need you. I need you. Please call me back. Noah? Amanda's voice was barely a whisper now. Lily? Babies? You have children? Tyler reached for her. Amanda, let me explain. Don't touch me. She pulled away, stumbled backward. I stood up, slowly, calmly. Every eye in the room turned to me. Noah was born October 20th at 1:51 a.m. I said clear, clinical, no emotion. 5 pounds, 3 ounces, NICU level 2. His mother, Jennifer, had severe preeclampsia that escalated to HLLP syndrome. Emergency C-section. I was the attending surgeon. Tyler was standing in the middle of the room, frozen. His face had gone from white to gray. You were in the waiting room. Tyler, I continued, holding Lily, your 18-month-old daughter. I walked out at 2:43 in the morning, still in scrubs, still had blood on my shoes. I told you, your wife and son were going to survive. You cried. You thanked me. You said, I thought I was going to lose them both. And then you kissed Jennifer's forehead when I brought you to recovery. Amanda made a sound. Not quite a scream, not quite a sob. Something broken. Your mother-in-law was there, I said to Tyler. Carol Morrison. She stayed all night. She hugged you. After I gave you the good news, she called you the best husband Jennifer could ask for. She was crying because she almost lost her daughter and grandson. Tyler tried to speak. We're separated. Divorce pending. It's complicated. You kissed her, I said, right after I told you both babies were safe. Your mother-in-law was crying beside you. That was October 20th, a Monday. I turned to Amanda. You started dating him 1 week later, October 27th. No, wait, I'm wrong. You contacted each other in July, 4.5 months ago. I looked back at Tyler, which means you were dating my sister, while Jennifer was 6 months pregnant, high risk, on bed rest. The room was completely silent now. No one was breathing. He was taking you to dinner while his wife was confined to bed rest. I said to Amanda. My voice was still calm, but there was an edge now, just a hint of pain underneath. He was texting you good night while Jennifer couldn't even get up to make herself food. He was telling you he loved you while she was lying flat, terrified she'd lose the pregnancy. And then, when the pregnancy nearly killed her in October, 1 week after I saved her life, he came to you. Amanda bent over, vomited into her napkin, right there at the table. My mother rushed to her. Amanda, sweetie, But Amanda pushed her away, vomited again. Her whole body was shaking. Tyler grabbed his coat from the back of his chair. I have to go. Where are you going? Amanda shrieked. Where the fuck are you going? He didn't answer, just walked out of the dining room, into the foyer, out the front door. It slammed behind him. The sound echoed through the house. Amanda collapsed into her chair, sobbing, hyperventilating. My mother was trying to comfort her, but Amanda kept pushing her away. Get away from me. Get away. I sat down, picked up my fork, cut another piece of turkey. Carol Henderson, my mother's friend, stood up. I'm leaving. I can't be part of this. She grabbed her purse and walked out. Susan Mitchell followed. Then Linda Chen. 4 guests left in under a minute. Aunt Helen walked over to me, put her hand on my shoulder, leaned down and whispered, I had no idea, honey. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, I said. You're incredible, she said. What you do, saving that woman. I'm ashamed. I didn't ask more questions. Uncle Bob stood up, walked over to my mother. Jesus Christ, Pat, your daughter is a surgeon, and you never told us. My mother didn't answer. She was staring at Amanda, who was still crying, still hyperventilating. More guests stood, awkward, uncomfortable. They mumbled excuses and left. Within 10 minutes, only 6 people remained. Me, my mother, Amanda, Aunt Helen, Uncle Bob, Cousin Greg. The turkey sat in the middle of the table, cold, untouched. Amanda finally looked at me. Her face was destroyed, mascara running, nose red, eyes swollen. Why didn't you say something? When you met him? Why didn't you warn me? I met him 45 minutes ago, I said, and I didn't know he was lying to you until I saw his reaction to my medical case description. You're lying, she whispered. You knew. You were waiting. You wanted to destroy this. I wanted to eat Thanksgiving dinner, I said. He destroyed it himself when he decided to answer my mother's question about my job by sitting there while you called me a candy giver. My mother finally spoke. Her voice was quiet, broken. Mary, I didn't know he was married. I would never have. You didn't know he was married, I said, turning to face her. But you knew I was a doctor. You knew I saved lives. You knew I worked 80-hour weeks. You knew I delivered over 180 babies last year. You knew I published research. You knew I taught residents. You knew all of that. And you told people I handed out stickers. She opened her mouth, closed it. No words came. You know what the worst part is? I said. My voice was controlled. But there was pain underneath now. Real pain. Years of it. It's not that you were embarrassed. It's that you never asked. You never came to the hospital. You never asked what a maternal fetal surgeon does. You never asked why I chose this. You just decided it wasn't good enough, and you spent 7 years making sure everyone else thought so too. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. I didn't. Your father would have been so proud. I'm so sorry. Dad died when I was 19, I said. I went to medical school to save people like him, people who don't make it. I chose OBGYN because mothers die, Mom. They die in delivery rooms. They hemorrhage. They stroke out. They code on the table. And I stopped that. I stopped it 12 times last year. I saved 12 women who would have died. That's my job. And you called it handing out candy. I stood up, folded my napkin, placed it beside my plate. Mary, wait. My mother said, please don't go. Not like this. It's Thanksgiving. You're my daughter, please. I have patients who need me. I said, please, Amanda said. She was still crying. Mary, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I should have asked. I should have. I'm sorry I mocked you. You're amazing. You're a surgeon. You save babies. I don't save babies, Amanda, I said, correcting her even now. I save mothers. The babies are usually fine. It's the mothers who die, and no one talks about it because we're not supposed to die anymore, but we do. 700 women a year in the US. I make sure my patients aren't on that list. What can I do? Amanda asked. How can I fix this? You can't, I said. I walked to the door. My mother called after me. Mary, please, please, don't go. I stopped, hand on the doorknob. Didn't turn around. I've spent 7 years saving women like Jennifer. I said, women who trusted me with their lives. Women who thanked me. Women who sent me cards when their babies turned 1. That's where I get my validation. Not from you. Not anymore. Please, she whispered. I'm done fighting to be seen by people who refused to look. I said, I'm done making myself small so you feel big. I'm done. It's Thanksgiving. She said, you're my daughter. I have patients who need me. I said again. I opened the door, walked out, closed it behind me with a quiet click. Not a slam, because I didn't need to slam doors. I'd already said everything. I sat in my car for a moment, engine on, heater warming up. It was cold outside, 42 degrees. November dark, the kind of dark that comes at 5:30 p.m. and settles in for the night. I should have felt devastated. I should have felt like I'd burned something down, like I'd destroyed my family, but I didn't. I felt lighter. For 7 years, I'd been holding my breath, waiting for them to see me, trying to earn something that was never going to be given. And tonight, I'd finally exhaled. I didn't need them to validate my work. My work validated itself. Every time I walked out of an OR with a living mother and a breathing baby, every time a patient thanked me, every time I made a decision that saved a life, the applause I'd been waiting for, it was never going to come, and I was done waiting. I put the car in drive and headed toward the hospital. The route was automatic, 35 minutes. Westchester County, roads to I-287 to Valhalla, past houses with warm lights, past families gathered around tables, past lives that looked simpler than mine. But my life wasn't simple. It never would be. And I was okay with that. I pulled into the hospital parking lot at 6:15 p.m. The maternity wing lights were on. Someone was in labor right now. Someone was being saved right now. This building, this work, this was home. I badged in through the staff entrance. The familiar sounds hit me immediately. Monitors beeping, nurses talking in low voices, a baby crying somewhere in the distance, the hum of the NICU, the smell of hospital, that mix of disinfectant and hope and desperation. Deborah Williams, the night shift charge nurse, looked up from her station. Dr. Shockley, I thought you were off tonight. I was, I said, but I wanted to check on Mrs. Patterson. She smiled. You know what's funny? I can walk into any delivery room in this hospital, and people are happy to see me. They trust me. They thank me. I matter here. You do matter here, Deborah said. You know that, right? Yeah, I said. I do. I walked to the maternity floor, knocked on room 312. Mrs. Patterson looked up from her bed. She was 32, pregnant with twins at 34 weeks. I'd stopped her preterm labor earlier this week with medication. She was stable now, waiting, hoping to make it to 37 weeks. Dr. Shockley, she said, on Thanksgiving? Just wanted to check in, I said. How are you feeling? We talked for a few minutes. I examined her briefly. Blood pressure, good. Twins, moving, well. Everything stable. You saved my twins this week, she said. I don't know how to thank you. You don't need to thank me, I said. Just keep those babies cooking for a few more weeks, okay? You're doing all the hard work. I'm just the backup. Her husband was asleep in the chair beside her bed. She smiled at him, then at me. My sister is pregnant too. High risk. Can I give her your name? Of course, I said. That's what I'm here for. I left her room and walked to the NICU, scrubbed in the soft lights, the incubators, the tiny babies fighting to grow. I walked to one specific incubator. Baby girl Torres, 32 weeks, 3 pounds 8 ounces, born last week via emergency C-section, placental abruption. I'd saved both mother and baby. Hey there, little one, I said softly, looking through the incubator glass. Look at you, breathing on your own now. That's my girl. Your mom is going to be so proud when she sees you tomorrow. Keep fighting, okay? NICU nurse came over. Dr. Shockley, the Torres family asked if you could be here for discharge. Probably Saturday. They said they only trust you. My eyes stung just a little. Tell them yes, I'll be here. I went to the break room, sat on the old couch, pulled out my phone. 23 missed calls, 15 from my mother, 8 from Amanda, 47 text messages. I didn't read them. Instead, I scrolled to an old text thread. Mrs. Chen, a patient from 2023. Emergency C-section, severe hemorrhage. I'd saved her life. She'd texted me on her daughter's first birthday. Thank you for saving us both. Emily turned 1 today. We named her middle name Mary. Emily Mary Chen. Born March 2023. Alive. Because I'd known exactly what to do at 3 a.m. when her mother started bleeding out. This was why I became a doctor. Not for my mother's approval, not for my sister's respect, for Emily Mary Chen, for Noah Hutchinson, for baby girl Torres, for the 186 families I'd helped bring into the world last year. They saw me. They always had. The door opened. Deborah poked her head in. There's someone here to see you. Says it's urgent. I stood up, walked to the maternity floor, waiting area, and froze. Jennifer Hutchinson was standing there, blonde, exhausted, dark circles under her eyes, holding Noah in his carrier, holding Lily's hand. The 18-month-old was clinging to her mother's leg, scared. Noah had been discharged from NICU just 3 weeks ago. November 10th, his pediatrician had been clear. Limit exposure to crowds. No travel. Watch for any signs of fever or respiratory distress until he reached his original due date in mid-December. Jennifer's mother, Carol, had wanted to drive down from Connecticut to help with Thanksgiving, to give Jennifer a break. But Carol had come down with a head cold the week before. Nothing serious for an adult, But with a premature infant, they couldn't risk it. So Jennifer had stayed home alone with a 5-week-old and an 18-month-old on Thanksgiving, while her husband told her he was closing a deal in Chicago. Jennifer didn't know if I would be at the hospital on Thanksgiving night, but Noah's fever kept climbing. 101.5. Now, and Maria Ferrer was where Noah was born, where I worked, where Jennifer felt safest. She drove there, hoping, praying. She looked up, saw me, started crying. Doctor, Shockley, I'm sorry to come here. I didn't know where else to go. I walked over to her, calm, professional. It's okay. What's going on? Tyler left, she said, voice breaking. He's not answering his phone. Noah has a fever, and I know it's Thanksgiving, but the pediatrician said if it goes above 101, I should bring him in. And I remembered you said if I ever had concerns, I trust you. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. I said, come on, let's get Noah checked out. You're okay. I've got you. I brought Jennifer to the pediatric ER. Paige, the pediatrician on call, stayed with her while Noah was examined. Minor viral fever, not serious. Temperature already coming down with Tylenol. But we'd monitor for a few hours just to be safe. I sat with Jennifer in the exam room, held Lily, so Jennifer could focus on Noah. The toddler fell asleep in my arms within minutes. Warm, heavy, trusting. Noah's going to be fine. I told Jennifer, it's just a cold. His temperature is already coming down. But I want to keep you here for a few hours, just to monitor. You can stay in the family room. There's a couch. Lily can sleep there. And you, when was the last time you ate? I don't remember. She said, I ordered food from the hospital cafeteria, brought it to her, sat with her while she ate. We didn't talk about Tyler. Not yet. She was too fragile, too exhausted. But eventually, she asked. Tyler said he had a work trip, and now he's not answering. Did something happen? I had to decide, tell her the truth or stay out of it. I chose truth. Jennifer, I said gently, I need to tell you something, but first, I need you to know Noah is safe. You're safe. You're here. And we're going to take care of you both, okay? She nodded. Tyler was at my family's Thanksgiving dinner tonight. I said, with my sister, they've been dating for 4 months. The words hung in the air. Jennifer's face went blank. Then she started crying, silent at first, then harder. He said we were trying to work things out, that the baby would save us. And he was with someone else. I held her hand, didn't say anything, just stayed. I'm so sorry, I said. Finally, I know this is the worst possible time, but you deserve to know. He told her he was in Chicago. He told you he was in Chicago. He lied to both of you. Jennifer cried for a long time. I stayed with her, didn't leave. Professional boundaries maintained, but human connection honored. Eventually, she asked, did you know when you were operating? No. I said, I met him as your husband. He loved you, at least in that moment. He did. What do I do now? She whispered, whatever happens next. With Tyler, that's between you two. I said, but right now, Noah is healthy. Lily is safe. You survived a life-threatening pregnancy. You're here. You're strong. And you have people who will support you. Starting with me, if you'll let me. She looked at me. Why are you being so kind to me? I'm a stranger, and My husband he hurt your sister. You didn't hurt anyone. I said, you're my patient, and I don't abandon my patients. My phone buzzed. Text from Aunt Helen. Your mother is devastated. Amanda is a mess, but I'm proud of you. You did the right thing. Love you, honey. I responded, thank you. I'm okay. At the hospital, where I belong. Another text. Amanda, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Tyler blocked me. I'm such an idiot. Please call me. I didn't respond. Not yet. Maybe not for a long time. A nurse appeared in the doorway. Dr. Shockley. Mrs. Patterson started having contractions again. Can you come? I stood immediately. Jennifer looked up at me. Go save someone else. I'll be okay. I'll check on you before I leave. I said. I scrubbed in. Evaluated Mrs. Patterson. The contractions were mild, but concerning. I gave her another dose of medication to stop the labor. Monitored her for 2 hours. The contractions stopped. The twins were safe. For now, it was 1,130 p.m. when I finished. I was exhausted, but it was the good kind of exhausted, the kind that comes from doing work that matters. I checked on Jennifer one more time. She was asleep on the family room couch. Noah and his carrier beside her. Lily curled up next to her mom. Both of them safe, protected. I smiled. Then I changed out of my scrubs and headed home, but not before checking my phone one last time. Jennifer had texted me while I was with Mrs. Patterson. Thank you for everything. For saving me in October. For saving me again tonight. Noah's fever is down. We're going to stay here tonight. I feel safe. I don't know what happens next, but I know I'm going to be okay. Because of you, Jennifer. I saved the text. Then I drove home. 25 minutes to my apartment in White Plains. Small, 1-bedroom, simple. But it was mine, and it was quiet, and it was enough. I thought about the day, about the dinner, about Tyler's face. When he realized I knew, about Amanda vomiting, about my mother's broken apology, about walking out, about Jennifer showing up, about helping her even after everything. I thought about worth. I'd spent 8 years in medicine trying to earn my mother's pride. 4 years as an attending surgeon, proving myself every single day, trying to make Amanda respect me, trying to prove I was enough. But I was already enough. I've been enough. Every single time I walked into an OR and saved a life. Every single time a patient thanked me. Every single time a baby took their first breath. Because I was there. That's where my worth lives. Not at a dinner table where I'm invisible, but in an operating room at 2 a.m. when someone's life is on the line. In a NICU at midnight when I'm holding a premature baby's hand through an incubator. In every single moment, I show up and do the work that matters. Your worth isn't proven at the family dinner table. It's proven in the moments when everything is falling apart and you're the only one who knows how to fix it. It's proven when someone looks at you with terrified eyes and you say, I've got you, and you mean it. I know where I belong, and it's not where people make me feel small. It's where I make miracles happen. That's my table. That's my family. And I'm done apologizing for it. My phone buzzed one more time. Hospital scheduling. Dr. Shockley. Emergency C-section scheduled 3 a.m. Patient just arrived via ambulance requesting you specifically. Can you come in? I looked at the message, looked at my apartment, looked at my scrubs in my bag, I smiled, typed back, "On my way, because this is who I am. This is where I belong. And I wouldn't have it any other way."